Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Rabbit and Red Whiskey Reviews. I am Eric, and today we're going to kick off the month of November 2019 with another 18-year-old single malt scotch. This one from the Isla region, Caol Ila, 18-year-old. This sample was provided to me by Lee Evolved, one of the top writers of whiskey reviews over at distiller.com. I highly encourage you to check out that website and take a peek at his reviews. He does great stuff, so thank you for the sample, Lee. As usual, I'm going to give you a nose, taste, finish review, chat about the value, give you my final thoughts and a score, leave you with a malt musing. But first, a bit about Caol Ila and this 18-year-old. So Caol Ila is a Isla distillery, and while a lot of their product is used and purchased by blenders, so Compass Box, for example, who does some really amazing Scotch blending, they use Caol Ila in a lot of their products. They, of course, have their own range. The 12-year-old is kind of their standard introductory, a really great peated single malt. And they also have this 18-year-old and a couple others. The 18-year-old actually comes in two different versions depending on where you are in the world. They have a peated and unpeated version. This is actually the peated version. So here you go. You can take a peek at the color here. I am not sure whether or not this is natural color or not. I'm also unsure whether or not it has been chill filtered or not, as I wasn't able to find much info online and drinking this out of a sample bottle. But it was bottled at 43%, and this bottle in particular was from 2008. Okay, so let's get into it. I had this sitting in the glass for about 15 minutes just to let the oxygen do its magic. It's a practice that I highly recommend doing, especially with older whiskeys. It just gives it an opportunity to get the full amount of flavor that this has to offer. So let's dive in. Okay. Right away on the nose, peat smoke. But which is in a somewhat expected way, the peat is not as overpowering as you get on younger peated whiskeys. I tend to find things like Lafroig 10, Ardbeg 10, Caol Ila 12 even. The peat smoke, it tends to be just a lot more in your face and overpowering. It is definitely sharing the stage. And it is sharing the stage with fruit. Yeah, there's a really nice kind of tropical sweetness happening on this. Wow. Creamy. There's a little bit of vanilla. I know this is assorted refill barrels. I'm assuming there's some refill bourbon in this, but yeah, so I'm really getting kind of a sweet fruitiness, and it's almost borders on a tropical fruit. Working really well with the peat smoke, and it's more of a campfire, kind of campfire on the beach peat smoke, not a very earthy at all. Oh, there's a lot going on in here. Slight herbal note too. I can't quite tell what it is, but very inviting. All right, Caol Ila 18. Let's give it a taste. Launch it. So right away, that sweetness I was telling you about on the nose, it's immediately what hits your tongue. It's like, it's almost like pineapple, mango, a little bit of pear for sure. And almost like a honeydew melon too, but then as it develops, wood, oakiness, the peat smoke. Again, there's a little bit of a saltiness, but that smoke is like, kind of hangs around in the background. It's not overpowering, but there's enough of it there to make its presence known for sure. Very sweet. Oily as it goes into the mouth, the finish too. It's a pretty long finish here. Again, getting kind of this herbal note is a lot stronger on the finish. I wish I could point to what it is. It's almost maybe like a bitter parsley, maybe a little bit of a floral. Interesting. Bit oaky, vanilla. Interesting. Okay. Let's give this a little bit of water. This is 43%, so we don't want to drown it. I'm just going to put a tad on here just to see what else we get. So with water now on the nose, it's more of a, getting kind of a charcoal note. Not barbecue, like raw charcoal. Really interesting. Yeah, strong herbal note, wow. Yeah, okay. A little bit of spiciness, a little bit of pepper too. So, wow, okay. On the palate with the addition of water, it thins it out a bit, but right as it develops, you get this burst of kind of a juicy fruit. Almost like the gum, also kind of like a red apple or a golden apple kind of flavor. Pear is still there, but it kind of just pops right in and asserts itself there. It's really good. Finish is still minty now. Minty, herbal, minty, a bit of oakiness still. This is a really interesting one. This is a really, really interesting one. Okay. So, value-wise for Caol Ila 18. This is one that I wouldn't say is exclusive, but it's not the easiest thing to find either. You can find it in the States. You're gonna find it anywhere from around $110 to $140, right in that range. I've seen it marked up considerably higher because it isn't the easiest thing, but that's kind of the price you should expect. For an 18-year-old, I think this is right in there. You're not going to find a lot of 18-year-old whiskeys for $100 anymore. So right in that 110 range, pretty good value. So final thoughts here. This one kind of gets you by surprise. It's the flavor profile. It is not as bold and kind of, I guess, full flavored and assertive as something like an Ardbeg or a Lagavulin 16, even the Laphroaig 18. This one kind of is playing by the beat of its own drum. You got a bit of the peat smoke, but everything else happening in this is much different than what you get out of those, which are usually a lot more heavy bourbon forward notes, sherried. This has got a very heavy kind of grassy herbalness to it, which kind of just rides all the way through this whiskey. There's also like a slight vanilla, these different kinds of golden fruits coming in. I'm thinking like pear, apple, like I mentioned, popping in and out. This is an interesting one. I think that this is a whiskey that if you have kind of major rounds around Islay, had some of the really big name peated single malts, but some of the older versions of them, this Caol Ila 18 might be something that's an interesting change of pace. So, you know, ultimately, I think it's not going to be for everybody, but a lot of folks who like peated malts might find some way to appreciate this one for sure. And I think, you know, this is the kind of thing that a whole bottle would be worth it, because you really, I think there's a lot of interesting things that'll happen in this with time in a bottle. So my final score on the Caol Ila 18 is going to be a 3.5 out of 5, which is I highly recommend trying it or picking up a bottle at a good price. Cool, y'all. So before we go, you're probably wondering why I have 3 bottles sitting here. So this is a little preview of what I have lined up for Rabbit and Red Whiskey reviews here in November. We are going to be doing Springbank 12-year-old cask strength. This is batch 17. We have the new Knob Creek in. This is the Knob Creek Quarter Oak. And also going to be doing the Balcones Brimstone, which is a Texas Scrub smoked blue corn whiskey. So this is going to be really interesting. So we have some pretty heavy ones set up. All of these are above 50%. So perfect for as the temperature is starting to get cooled down. So we'll have those coming up soon. And I'm going to send you all over to your mount music. We'll catch you next time on Rabbit and Red Whiskey Reviews. Cheers.